From just a simple seed, the mighty redwood tree is freed. But there's something that it needs to make it grow. And the petals of the sweetest rose come into life tightly closed, and what helps them to unfold? A secret we all know. It's all a part of opening. It's all a part of each and everything. And everywhere we turn, a simple miracle is flowing like a river to the sea. And the love that lies within our hearts, it wants so bad to make a start. But first we have to do our part, give that love away. And when our courage comes at last, when the fear is finally past, our life will change so fast. 'Cause love's come out to play. It's all a part of opening, all a part of spreading our own wings. Everywhere we turn, a simple miracle is flowing like a river to the sea. And we sing our song, riding on the melody and searching for the harmony. And we're right where we belong, trusting in the truth we know, following wherever it goes. 'Cause it's all a part of opening. It's all a part of each and everything. Everywhere we turn, a simple miracle is flowing like a river to the sea. It's all a part of opening, all a part of spreading our own wings. Everywhere we turn, a simple miracle is flowing like a river to the sea. And opening, 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 opening.
Thank you, Bill, for that beautiful song. Well, some children were asked questions about love and marriage. 10-year-old Kristen said, well, no person really decides before they grow up who they're going to marry. God decides it all way before, and you get to find out later who you're stuck with. Camille, age 10, said, 23 is the best age to fall in love and marry because you know the person forever by then. And Christine, age 9, said, it's love if they order one of those desserts that are on fire. They like to order those because it's just like how their hearts are on fire. And then they were asked, when is it okay to kiss someone? And 7-year-old Pam said, when they're rich. Kirk, age 7, said, the law says you have to be 18, so I wouldn't want to mess with that. And Howard, age 8, said, the rule goes like this. If you kiss someone, then you should marry them and have kids with them. It's the right thing to do. And finally, in answer to the question, what is falling in love like? 9-year-old Roger said, like an avalanche where you have to run for your life. So we may have different definitions of love, and the same is true of compassion. Theologian Matthew Fox said, compassion is our response to our interconnectivity. Buddhist Jack Cornfield says, compassion is the quivering of the pure heart that occurs when we allow ourselves to be touched by the pain of life. Let yourself feel how the beauty of every being brings you joy and how the suffering of any being makes you weep. Most of us can feel that at this time in our lives and in the world. Compassion is about sharing our common joy and beauty, as well as sharing our common pain and suffering. We have the capacity to proclaim the power of a tender, loving heart in the face of all the suffering of the world, and let us know our oneness through this time of world crisis. Whenever our own heart is open and uncovered, the awakening of this stream of compassion begins within. And this spirit of love cannot help but transform ourselves and others. The awakening of our compassion is reflected in Holy Week. The stages of Jesus's life help show us our own journey into compassion. The last week in the life of Jesus is remembered today on Palm Sunday, the beginning of Holy Week. During that last week, Jesus went to Jerusalem at the time of Passover to make a final appeal to the Jewish people to transform themselves and prepare the kingdom. John 12 speaks of Palm Sunday. Now the Passover of the Jews was at hand, and many went up from the country to Jerusalem before the Passover to purify themselves. A great crowd who had come to the feast heard that Jesus was coming to Jerusalem. So they took branches of palm trees and went out to meet him, crying, Hosanna! Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord, even the King of Israel. And Jesus found a young donkey and sat upon it, as it is written, fear not, daughter of Zion, behold, your king is coming. He is victorious and humble, riding on a donkey. So he did not come as the warrior Messiah people had been expecting, but he came as the one prophesied, one who was humble, a lover of children and animals, one with an open heart. In our more contemporary world, it was Palm Sunday, but because of a sore throat, 5-year-old Johnny stayed home with the sitter. And when the family returned home from church, they were carrying several palm fronds. Johnny asked them what they were for. And his father told him, well, people held them over Jesus's head as he walked by. Wouldn't you know it, Johnny fumed. The one Sunday I don't go and he shows up. Oh, but I was thinking about palm fronds, and Christine did a beautiful decorating job at our church, and we can't see it today. With palm fronds and flowers and everything. Fortunately, we'll still be able to see it next Easter. A lot of it will still be there. So thank you, Christine. And we'll just hold that in thought and look forward to seeing it next week. But Holy Week is a is like a condensed version of the life of Jesus into a very short time of great intensity. Each event symbolizes an aspect of the awakening of our heart to deeper compassion. So the first stage as we enter into Holy Week is entering Jerusalem, because the celebration of Palm Sunday is when Jesus enters Jerusalem. Charles Fillmore, co-founder of Unity, said, Jerusalem, the city of David, symbolizes the love center in human consciousness, located within the heart chakra. This is the habitation of peace and love within us. So Palm Sunday represents the place in each person's journey of awakening in which we enter into and open the heart to compassion. Certainly, we can all use more compassion. And that's one of the great messages to all of humankind right now. We can ask ourselves, have I had a single thought of self-condemnation this week? Have I beat myself up for any single thing? And if the answer is yes, we can use more self-compassion. We can also ask ourselves, have I condemned another this week? Then I can use more compassion. If I become numb with all the negativity in the news, I can pause and open my heart and feel my feelings. Palm Sunday is the place in our journey where we wake up to compassion. Going into Jerusalem was a risk because many wanted to kill Jesus since he had become a danger to the religious institutions of his day. And it can feel to us like it is a risk to enter into and open the heart. It becomes a danger to any of the false belief systems we have created. It means we might have to give up anger, resentment, negativity, and fear in order to overcome the final struggle of the ego. Now we must move into our heart center and hold firm to compassionate love. The second stage of Holy Week is, as Jesus entered into the week, was to throw the money changers out of the temple. He went into the temple and saw the money changers there, and he overturned their tables. This is said to be one of the only times Jesus grew furious, as described in all of the gospel stories. He overturned their tables and he loudly proclaimed, "It is written, my house shall be called a house of prayer, but you make it a den of robbers." So once we enter into our hearts to fully awaken compassion, it's necessary for us to cast out negative thinking, old habits, false beliefs, all that which corrupts the temple of our heart. What is an example of a money changer experience at this time? Not only in our own individual lives, but collectively. But we could say that it shows up today in the greed for power at the expense of democracy and freedom. This is a money changer experience, corrupting the temple. Perhaps money changers are those who would profit from people's misery by price gouging, or those who are selfish when there are many who are in need. So we must each cast the money changers from the temple of our own hearts, those false beliefs, those resentments, those selfish behaviors or condemning thoughts we might hold toward other human beings. Like Jesus, we must stand up for truth and cast the money changers out of our lives. Let us open the door of our hearts to inner and outer compassion. And then the third stage of Holy Week is that after Jesus threw out the money changers, he did more ministering on Monday and Tuesday of his last week. So we can say ministering to others or teaching and becoming teachable. As a matter of fact, nearly one half of Jesus's recorded sayings were delivered in those 2 days. So when we cast away old habits, we also have the capacity to teach and to serve others with compassion. There was a man who once went searching for the meaning of life, and after several years and many miles, he came to the hut of a holy saint, a holy hermit, and he asked to be enlightened. The holy man invited his visitor into his humble dwelling, and he began to serve him tea. And he filled the pilgrim's cup, and then he kept on pouring. So the tea soon was pouring over the edges and dripping onto the floor. The man watched the overflow until he could no longer restrain himself. Stop, stop, it's full. No more will go in. Like this cup, said the hermit, you are full of your own opinions, your own preconceptions and ideas. How can I teach you unless you first empty your cup? So after we cast out the money changers, when we empty our cup, we cast out whatever is blocking our good, we become teachable. And then we have something to teach, and we can minister to others with compassion. The Dalai Lama said, compassion is not pity toward another. Rather, it denotes a feeling of connection with others, reflecting its origins in empathy. It leads not to emoting, but to taking action, to service, to getting involved in relieving the burdens of one another's suffering, or giving of our time and talents to assisting others. This in turn brings happiness to ourselves. As many of you know, I grew up in Salt Lake City, and my mother was in many ways my spiritual teacher. She was always finding people to help, sometimes to my father's consternation, because she would sometimes bring them home and give them food and money. Not that my father wasn't compassionate too, but he just didn't quite know what she was going to do next. And it was her 12-step work. And she was a hands-on kind of person. Sometimes she would adopt people and she would help find housing for them and keep track of their lives. It got so I would also notice people who were in bad straits, and I would call my mom on the phone and ask if she could come and help them, which she always did if and when it was appropriate. Well, I remember one time I had a mystical experience in the large sports stadium at the University of Utah in Salt Lake. It was filled with thousands of people that night. I was there with several family members and friends watching a game. And I remembered suddenly I became tuned into the pain in the arena. I could feel the pain of everybody. And then it expanded, and I was suddenly feeling the pain of all humankind. And then just as instantly, I suddenly was feeling the joy in the arena. And then all of a sudden, the joy of all humankind. I was overwhelmed with utter compassion. And the people that I attended with, of course, were all watching the game, and I had to gather myself to even speak. It was such a profound experience. And after that experience, I remember feeling like I understood my mother more, but I did not start bringing people home to feed them. I went into the ministry instead, and I served in another kind of arena. Each one of us loves and serves differently. Compassion may be felt and then often involves specific action. So the next important experience of Holy Week was the fourth stage. We call it the upper room. This is where the Passover supper, or the Last Supper of Jesus, was held. This is symbolic of going into a higher state of consciousness, especially to pray and meditate. So once we have cast away or released the negative and false, we go into the upper room, that high place within. And some of Jesus's greatest teachings were given in the upper room during his Last Supper. This is the place where we go within and we are taught by the living Spirit of truth. And one of the most significant passages delivered at that meal is from John 13:34, where Jesus said, "A new commandment I give to you, that you love one another, even as I have loved you, that you also love one another." The former commandments were given by Moses, the lawbringer. They were strong directives to the people of the times about what they should and should not do. But Jesus brought a whole new commandment, one declaring love and compassion. You know, my father had an older sister, it's my Aunt Dorothy, and she never married. She became a school teacher and an elementary school principal, and she was one of my primary caregivers along with my parents. And she was a very integral part of our family because she had never married or had children of her own. And so through the years, because my parents' children were like Dorothy's children too, she and my mother had a rivalry. Dorothy was often jealous and tried to compete. So they had sort of this love-hate relationship. My mother loved her dearly, but she would get so frustrated. And it was one of my mother's toughest challenges, which brought a lot of bitterness to be overcome. And in my last visit with my mother when she was dying, I remember so clearly one of her comments. She said, "For Dorothy, I feel only compassion." And it was interesting because for the last 12 years of Dorothy's life, she was confined to a wheelchair. She had been quite an athlete, playing golf the day before she had a stroke. And then she ended up in a wheelchair her last 12 years. And my mother lived in a retirement inn several blocks away the last 2 years of her life, and neither of them saw each other. But my mother always still said that Dorothy was in a contest with her to live longer. She had been so competitive. She knew Dorothy was doing her best to live longer. But my aunt was about 8 years older. She was in her 90s. So when my mom died, I said to my brother and sister, "Now that Mom is gone, I will give Dorothy 6 months." Well, Dorothy died 4 months later. So my mother was right. As soon as Dorothy won the contest, she was gone. And I was thinking about that in reference to her comment about compassion on her deathbed. It's not always easy to have compassion with some of those people with whom we have deep, kind of sticky karmic issues. But my mom was teaching me about compassion right up till the end. And the next stage is the 5th stage, betrayal and crucifixion. This is the event of Holy Week in the Garden of Gethsemane, leading to the crucifixion of the dark night of the soul. Because this was the place of betrayal. In the garden at night, his disciples first went to sleep, and Jesus was alone. And that is what happens to us in the dark night. We must find our way alone until we can finally surrender to God and say, "Thy will be done." Often betrayal is part of the spiritual path. But this entire journey is about the crucifixion and transformation of the ego, that fearful part of us that keeps us believing we are separate from God. It is the source of our negativity and false belief. So this current time in which we are all feeling a certain level of anxiety about our future is a Garden of Gethsemane experience. We may feel betrayed by our world, our government, or certain individuals. We may feel fearful at times in those times of aloneness. This is a crucifixion experience for us personally and collectively right now. So our fears must be crucified, crossed out, and reintegrated so the new spiritual consciousness of compassionate love can be born again in us. And that takes us to finally resurrection and ascension. So to recap, we enter Jerusalem, the heart center. We cast out the money changers, the negative fears of the ego. We become teachable and we help teach others. We take time in the upper room, the dwelling place within, and nourish ourselves by listening to the Spirit of truth. We remember the new commandment to love one another, even as we are loved by the Christ, by God, by the universe. We recognize the betrayal of the ego and we cast it away, cross it out, crucify it, letting go of our fears. And finally, we are resurrected. And do you want to know more about how we are resurrected and transformed? Well, then I recommend you attend the Sunday service, Easter service next week. Be sure to join us for a different kind of Good Friday in between with the film Jesus Christ Superstar, an amazing musical, which is largely about the the experience of Judas and Jesus in that last betrayal. But it's all musical and it's beautiful music. And actually, resurrection is then our new beginning. The darkness lifts and the dawn comes. We have integrated love more deeply into our being through a compassionate heart, which recognizes the sacred in all of life. We ascend or transcend the old ways of the past, and we are born anew. Jesus came to challenge the existing paradigms, to bring a greater awareness to our relationship with God and a greater experience of the presence of God. People responded to his message with the hope for redemption that he represented. And as a result, sometimes we wait for a Savior to rescue us in our own lives, in our church, in our country, in our world. But the vision Jesus brought is one of transforming consciousness. Then the outer circumstances follow. Jesus offered the bliss of connection to the One, to be followed by peace on earth, heaven on earth, love on earth. So each one of us has our part to play in taking our journey through the mystical stages of awakening. We are already one with God, one with all good. We only have to know it and to experience it. And doing that together makes all the difference. As we begin to personally and to collectively shift, we can free ourselves from the anxiety and the sense of threat to our lives and freedom that many of us are feeling at this time. So I invite you this Holy Week to open your heart, experience divine compassion, and through a simple act of loving kindness, make a difference in the world. And we'll see you on Easter. Thank you, and God bless you. Thank you.
This song has a chorus that's real easy to sing if you're so inclined. It's kind of fun to sing. And here's your part. Everybody's gonna wake up sometime. Yeah, everybody's gonna wake up sometime. Everybody's gonna wake up sometime. Yeah, everybody's gonna wake up sometime. That comes around several times, so jump right in. A long time ago, pretty princess fell asleep under the spell of an evil witch, did a little dreaming. Long came Prince Charming, woke her up with a little bit of love, happily ever after. That's how the story goes, and everybody's gonna wake up sometime, yeah. Everybody's gonna wake up sometime. Everybody's gonna wake up sometime, yeah. Everybody's gonna wake up sometime. In the day to day, so easy to lose our way. We get a little busy, misplaced priorities, try to earn a dollar, oh, but we forget about love. Heart turning colder, colder, till it's just too much to bear. But everybody's gonna wake up sometime, yeah. Everybody's gonna wake up sometime. Everybody's gonna wake up sometime, yeah. Everybody's gonna wake up sometime. Ever stop and wonder what it is? What makes our world keep turning round and round like this? Life has a little purpose for each and every one of us. Gonna learn about love one way or the other. Sometime it's a hard road, sometime flowing like a river, all leading to the same place. So the path we choose is up to you and me. Everybody's gonna wake up sometime, yeah. Everybody's gonna wake up sometime. Everybody's gonna wake up sometime, yeah. Everybody's gonna wake up sometime.
Thank you, Bill. I think you've got everybody woken up. It's a good song, easy to sing, and nice melody. Thank you. Thank you, Reverend Kathy, for that prelude to the service next Sunday. Certainly is a lot to be done so we can all love ourselves better. I love the compassion message. This is the time in our service when we bless our offerings. So we encourage you to go to our website. You find a donate button, and you can select under the donate button where you want to give the money, or you can take a picture with this your phone of the QR code and get to the website that way, or you can write a check, and our address is also on our website. So let's bless our offering. Please join me in blessing the offering. Divine love flowing through me now blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, and I am grateful. And now Bill will play us an offertory song.
My gift goes forth on the wings of love, and it lands where it can heal and bless. It returns to me, multiplied 1,000-fold, and the universe says yes, yes, and the universe says yes.
Thank you, Bill. So now it's the time for our community news and announcements. Men's group, facilitated by myself, will continue to meet on the second and fourth Saturdays of the month. We will start our meetings in April at noon instead of 11 a.m. It's going to be from noon to 1 p.m. And the first meeting in April will be April 13th. Call me if you have any questions. Family table is on Thursday, March 28th at 5 p.m. So I assume Kathleen is on, I can jump in now because she had something she may want to say about this. Is that right? Okay, well, if not, the information is here. Please contact Kathleen. There's a phone number and her email as well there. And family tables March 28th, but there's also a family promise. The hospitality week begins on Easter, March 31st. Sign-up sheets are in the narthex. So you probably might not be able to make it to the narthex before Easter, unless you come to the, that's another reason you should come to the Jesus Christ Superstar movie on Friday night. So you can sign up in your narthex, see what she needs, and bring it for Easter Sunday so she can get these, what would I call the things to the families. Excuse me, I just had a senior moment there. Okay, coming soon, the party program. This sounds like a really fun fundraiser. You can throw a party of any kind you want. Italian dinner at your house, barbecue at your house, and deck if you have a deck and backyard, or taking 5 people or 6 people, whatever, to breakfast, or treating 4 people to a play in the Twin Cities, or to the Museum of Arts, or something like that, or maybe even the Como Zoo, which is free, but you could have, say, you buy lunch for everybody and drive them down there. There's different ways you can put some value on it. And the party who hosts the party selects the time, and it has to be sometime through the months of June and up through November. And also the number can be limited to how many could attend and how much they would have to pay for it. So it needs to be affordable, or if you want to have a higher price one, it might be some people that have been willing to pay more. However, the host submits a form describing the party, and the church will collect the forms and create a booklet of parties. Everyone decides which ones they want to attend over the 6-month period. And you can attend more than one. And then you purchase the tickets to the various parties. And the sale will be on Sunday, May 19th. The money for all party tickets goes to the church. So it's a great fundraiser filled with lots of fun. Make sure you have enough money in your account to pay for the party, because if you're going to throw the party, then the cost of the party is on you. That will be your gift to the church in this fundraiser. A form to describe your party is available at the church or on our website. It should be available this week. So please be prepared to submit by April 7th. There's a new class coming on April 1st, starting April 1st. Please register this week. The teacher, Reverend Tony, who's an associate minister at Unity of Minneapolis, wants to know how many there will be, who's going to attend.
I'm going to interrupt here, Noel. Can I interrupt?
Go ahead.
Actually, we're postponing this class for now, since there has not been enough interest at this time.
Okay.
But we're hoping to do it later in the year, because we'll invite her for some Sunday or to do a one-nighter so people can get to know her. And we hope to do it later in the year, because it's a fabulous book. But just for this particular time, I guess maybe the class was too long for this time period. So sorry to interrupt. I just wanted you to know that.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you did. Yeah, I just seen it now that you got it here. We apologize. That's not in my printout. But that
You're cutting out, Noel.
Good. I don't have to read so much. Stable internet connection. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So I'm not seeing on the website, I'm not seeing that there's a Good Friday movie night, but that will be on Friday, March 29th at 7 p.m. It's a 1973 American musical. And what else can I say here? There will be a $5 love offering, and snacks and water bottles are available.
Like you've frozen. Are you cutting out again, Noel?
Easter Sunday flower service. I'm cutting out again. Huh? I can't do anything about that. I'm talking.
There we go.
Yeah, it's coming and going.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to call Infinity and tell them we need a different router or something here. I don't know what I can. Hopefully we won't have any snowstorms before the next time I speak, so I can do it in person. I'm much more dynamic in person anyway. Okay.
You're dynamic either way, no.
Oh, okay. Thank you. So I hope you can make it Easter Sunday to see Christine's decorating. That itself is something to see. It's really neat. She did a really good job. I was just there yesterday for the men's group. And Claire Van der Grammert and Judy Vinar, two excellent musicians, will be part of the service. And there will be a flower ceremony where people will get to help decorate an Easter wreath of flowers. Sounds like a really nice ceremony. And there'll be a potluck lunch right after the service. So a lot of good fellowship. And if you stay long enough, you can join Carl Schlotterbeck in a drumming experience. And if you have a drums and rattles, please bring your own. So now please join me in saying this prayer of affirmation. Centered in prayerful intention, we give thanks for an overflowing abundance of spiritual awakening, prosperity, new members and children for Unity North Spiritual Center. And now Reverend Kathy will lead us in a prayer for protection.
All right. I just want to say thank you to everybody. First, thank you so much, Tracy, for producing the service today, running the PowerPoint. Great job. And thank you, Noel. Great job. Dynamic as always. And thank you, Bill, for great music today. It was a perfect match for the service. All right, and let's speak our prayer for protection together, and then we'll sing our peace song and have social time together. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as our creator. Family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
Thanks for coming, Jandy. Bye.
Bye. Thank you, Tracy. I think that went really well.